Alright, first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and all glory unto Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Kodash. The balance unto the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone that surely do well. Peace and blessings unto the Akim through the four corners of the world. This is Matana from the GMS Trinidad Camp West, coming to the Spirit and the Power of the Lord. To do another lesson to edify the Lord's flock. And so like this one gonna be called Remember Lot's Wife. And there's two reasons why I'm doing this video, and one is gonna be first of all I'll read the story, and then I'm gonna explain two things. This is Luke 17 and verse 32. It says, "Remember Lot's wife. Whosoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it." And when they go to the story of Lot's wife, what happened with Lot's wife? This is 19 verse. Genesis 19 verse 15, it says, "And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife and thy two daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city. And while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his two daughters, Yahweh being merciful unto him. And they brought him forth and set him without the city. And it came to pass, when they had brought him forth abroad, that he said, Escape for thy life. Look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. And Lot said unto them, Oh, not so, my Lord. Behold, now thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast shewed unto me in saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me and I die. Behold, now this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one, and my soul shall live? And he said unto him, See, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow this city for which thou hast spoken. Haste thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou become thither. Therefore the name of the city was called Zoar. The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. Then the Lord Yahushai rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from Yahweh out of heaven, and he overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the cities and that which grew upon the ground. But his wife looked back and from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. And Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before the Lord. So what she did, she looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. And two things could be said from there. She looked back because probably she wanted to see what happened to the people that were living there, or relatives or whatnot. She was probably missing what was taking place there. And another thing is disobedience. She didn't obey the command of the Most High, which the Most High strictly said not to stay in the plain or to look back. But Lot asked the Most High to stay in one of the cities, and he said, I'm not gonna destroy the city for your sake. But what she did, she broke one of the commands, which was not to look back. And the Lord said, Remember Lot's wife. And that is how we ought to be in this truth. We're not supposed to look back, nor are we supposed to disobey the commands of the Most High. Because looking back into this world, anytime you come into the truth and you're looking back into this world, then somewhere along the line you're gonna be caught. You're gonna get caught back up into the affairs of this world. You're gonna get caught back up with the old man, that man that you're trying to destroy, that man that you're trying to kill, that old man. You're gonna become a much harder fight, seeing that your eyes still on this world. So you're not supposed to look back. You're supposed to. That is one bridge that you're supposed to burn. That bridge that took you from the world into the truth, you're burning that bridge. You don't want to cross. You don't want to go back across that bridge. Even the Lord said, any man that puts his hand, if a man puts his, you know what? Let's read it as one of the precepts I'm done. Luke 9 and verse 62, it says, and Yahushua said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of the Most High. You know, you're putting your hand to this work, you're becoming, or you're so-called becoming a new man, but you're looking back into the world. What are you looking back for? You're looking back to see what you're missing out on, where you could have gained, where you could have achieved in this world, and that's gonna distract you, and then you're gonna eventually end back up in this world. So you don't want to look back. You don't want to go back. You don't want to anything to do with going back into the world. You don't want to have to do nothing to do with it. As they say, forward ever, backwards never. You know, growth is not going up and down, and growth is continually going up. Now you might plateau for a while, you might be on one spot for a while. That is a hurdle, something you may be trying to overcome. But after there, you're gonna eventually elevate. But you, from the time you start to go through afflictions and you start to go through trials, and then you say, you know what, if I was in the world, I probably would not be going through this, because you probably might have had a nice job, or you find you're spending too much money being around the brotherhood, or you find you're not making enough money as before, or you ain't getting as much girls as before, or you probably lose your car, you probably lose your woman, and you're looking back and you're pondering on, hey boy, but that's how it stay there, boy. You're not gonna be fit for the kingdom. The Most High, the Lord said it. Let me read it. Not the Lord, the Apostle Paul said it. This is 2 Timothy, I'll start at verse 3. Chapter 2 and verse 3, it says, thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua HaMashiach. No man that word entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who had chosen him to be a soldier. So we are a spiritual, we fighting a spiritual warfare. At the moment, we're not fighting any physical war. You know, we're trying to actually, cast down the false imagination, the false images, the false doctrines that they set up in this world, and be doing it spiritually. So if you're fighting that warfare, you can't study this world where you could do in this world, because the scriptures say the flesh war against the spirit, and in this world, the scriptures say in this world is what? Let me read it. That is 1 John. 1 John 2 and verse 15, it says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. So we fight in a spiritual warfare. That means that we have to be, basically continually or continuously be in the spirit. And anytime we feed in the flesh, then we're gonna give the flesh upper hand over the spirit, and then we're gonna end up living a carnal life. You're gonna end up studying carnal things. As I said before, Scripture said that the flesh is at war with the spirit, but your flesh is at war with your spirit. So you may want to do one thing, but your flesh may want to do another thing, and that happens on a day-to-day basis. We want to do certain things, we want to do good, but then your flesh would want to do wickedness, because that is all the flesh can do, wickedness. That is all the flesh know about, vanity. But let's read it again. It says, for all, verse 16, it says, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. And she looking back to seeing they destroyed what she was looking back to, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes. What you wanted to see there for? What you looking back into the world for? You understand that this world is full of wickedness. You understand that to achieve anything in this world, you would have to sell out some way or the other. But you're looking back. There's nothing to look back to. There's nothing to go back to in this world. Anything you go back to in this world would result in you being put to death by the Most High. It says, verse 17, it says, and the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever. So all this madness that is set up to distract you, Jakes, to entertain you all, to keep you all busy, cars, the houses, the parties, the women, that extra sexual culture that you people grow up to know, the adultery that's taking place, the whoredom in the land, all these things gonna pass away. But he that do the will of the Most High gonna abide forever, and that is what we want to be. We want to be on that side of the fence. And the Most High say, you're not gonna be punished with them, like as he tell Lot. He said, you know what? Go up there that you not be consumed for the iniquity of this city, and that is how we want to be. We do not want to be like Lot's wife. That's why he said, remember Lot's wife. Take example from what she did. She looked back and she turned a pillar of salt. And that would just be a story to some of you people, yes, but it did truly happen, and we're gonna see judgment point out like that once again, in coming times very soon. So it's nothing to take lightly. As the scriptures say, all scriptures read it. Second Timothy 3 and verse 16, it says, all scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. So we see what happened with wicked men, what happened with righteous men, and we living by the example that was set by them. When they do wickedness, they was destroy it here, but we're not gonna do such things. The men that did righteousness, the men that believed in the Most High, the men that held the faith in the Most High and was delivered, that is what we're gonna do. So with that, I want to give all praises and all glory unto Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Bashim, Yahweh Kakwadash, to balance unto the apostles and the elders of Queen Milson that surely do well. Peace and blessings unto the Akim through the four corners of the world. This is Martin from GMS Trinidad West Camp saying Shalom.